to catch a predator. I just got inspired when I was watching this Dateline show, you know, when they catch these creeps thinking that they're going to get some young girl, 12, 13, 14 years old, to have sex with them, and they come into the house, and next thing you know, they're going out the door, and the sheriff's out there putting the cuffs on them. Well, what the problem is that the predators in this country is the government itself, the law enforcement. And I'm talking about the FBI, the Department of Justice. I'm talking about Senator Blumenthal, who's my senator in Connecticut, and the whole United States Senate, and the whole Congress, including my Congressman Jim Himes, who are all taking bribes and who are completely selling us out. And let's not forget the media, because they're part of the show. They're the act with the propaganda that has everybody completely screwed up, thinking that all we can do is elect Republicans and Democrats. And this isn't going to be easy, but I'll tell you what. Eddie Murphy would blow these people away, and we could put a slate across this country with real, sharp, intelligent, legitimate people who don't need any more money. They have tons of money. Eddie Murphy's loaded. And we need to have people who are going to be like on the cabinet, the Attorney General, who are going to turn right on top of these bastards that we need to knock out of the government and lock them up and prosecute them for the crimes they're committing. And that goes right from child molesting. They're protecting George Anthony. I've been in touch with the FBI since June 25th in Florida on that case. We're talking about John Corzine, ripped off $1.6 billion. They're protecting these Wall Street crooks. They protected all the bankers that ripped off this whole mortgage deal. Simple crimes. And they want everybody to think it's so complicated that nobody could possibly understand it. Well, I can guarantee I understand it. And there's nothing complicated about it. So we have the Wall Street crimes. We have the molester, murderer, George Anthony, that the FBI is protecting. And then, to top it off, because this is really the kicker, we have terrorism. We have the 9/11 inside job. And boy, get this, I've been involved in reporting this crime, getting nowhere because our government is protecting the perpetrators of 9/11, and I'm talking about George Bush, Ashcroft, Rumsfeld, General Myers, the guy that owned the lease on the World Trade Center. Think about it. A plane takes off, hijacked, from Washington, D.C., Flight 77, that's supposedly going to hit the Pentagon, which is right there, isn't it? But it doesn't hit the Pentagon. It goes all the way to Kentucky. And then, supposedly, it turned around from Kentucky and came all the way back and smashed into the Pentagon a half hour and more after the World Trade Center was hit. And guess what? The jets, the NORAD jets that are on watch to patrol the Pentagon were off in North Carolina. Now, how do they do that? There's only one possible way, that the commander-in-chief tells the general of NORAD that he needs these planes to disappear so that we can fire a missile into the Pentagon, kill 125 people. One survived named April Gallup. I was at her appellate conference or hearing in New Haven, Connecticut. And guess who's on the panel? George Bush's cousin, John M. Walker Jr. I mean, really. So, John M. Walker Jr. asked his dipshit lawyer, a guy named William Veal. He says, "Well, where did the plane go then? That didn't hit the Pentagon?" He says, "I don't know." Okay, supposing bank robbers come into a bank, hold up the bank, and then the cops come, and they say to the tellers, "Well, where did the guy go? Where did the robbers go?" "I don't know." What is that supposed to mean? The bank didn't get robbed? So if you don't know where the plane went, I can tell you this. It was taken someplace where they whacked all the people that were on the plane. They're not coming back. Okay? So I thought, wow, that's pretty vicious. But really, when you think about it, there's only like 65 people involved compared to the 2,700, including the 342 firefighters that were in the World Trade Center to try to save those people. But they brought those buildings right down on top of those firefighters, along with the other people, the civilians and the cops and the EMS who were up there trying to rescue those people. See? That's what our government did. And they were planning this, and I can tell you about a meeting on July the 12th with Thomas Picard, the director of the FBI, who was right in the office of John Ashcroft, telling him about Al-Qaeda. And guess what? Ashcroft says, "I don't want you to ever mention Al-Qaeda again." What? Well, the funny part of it was not funny. Philip Shannon, who wrote the book, The Commission, kind of stupid actually, because number one, he didn't publish the story when he found out about it. He waited to publish it in this book in 2008. So, yeah, the media has conspired to cover up that meeting and a lot more, because this book is full of more than 40 presidential daily briefings where Bush was told by George Tenet, the head of the CIA. Get one more point, and that is Moussaoui was arrested on August the 16th by the FBI, and he was proven guilty of being a conspirator. So why didn't they stop the other 19? Because they wanted them to take off so that they could hit this deal with a real ton of firepower, okay, that the government could put in there. Because if those planes just hit the buildings, yeah, there would be maybe a couple hundred people killed, but nothing to the extent of bringing 3 buildings down, not 2, 3. Let's not forget Building 7, that isn't even in the 9/11 Commission report. Okay, so this is what I'm hoping happens here, that I can connect with Eddie Murphy through people who potentially have the power to connect with Eddie Murphy. And we got to get rid of this government. The whole shooting match. It's rotten to the core. It stinks to high heaven. And prosecute these people and put them away and straighten this country out again. Okay? So, thank you for my inspiration watching Dateline, catching predators, because that's exactly what I'm fixing to do, is catch some real big-time predators. And I will email this to Blumenthal's office to the FBI down in Maitland, Florida, and to a whole bunch of other people involved in this whole mess in the United States.